Hello and welcome to Patrick's Models and Transport. So this evening I'm going to do an unboxing video, an unenveloping video, more likely because this is a padded envelope. And in here there's something that was sent to me by Bugler75, my friend Ian from Alsace, who I really thank for this. And it's, let's see what it is, because as you know, Ian models N scale. So let's break into the envelope. What have we got in here? Now, we've got, some interesting stuff here. Oh, thank you very much. A golf. That was an unexpected gift. Thanks. Majorette golf. Wow, nice. Thanks. I used to buy Majorette cars when I was a kid. It's Majorette. It's not a Majorette, but it's very similar to. It's a Matchbox. Matchbox Golf Mark 1. Well, thanks. Thanks. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. So in here we've got a coal bunker in HO or double O scale. It will work in both scales, and also, so that will go on the layout. And I've also got some. There's also a note here that Ian, you sent me the notes. So some carbon powder that I can use to weather things and smudge things and generally make a mess with. This is very useful, carbon powder. It's also good because it saves me from filing down the charcoal I use for the. And here there's also some very interesting, the bag seems to be some these here. We've got some stones from aquarium stones, correct? Let me see here. Here we've got the stones from the florist, not the aquarium. Aquarium stones that make perfect coal. That's fantastic, that's great. Great stuff. Very, very nice. Definitely, thanks for the car. That's a nice addition. I'll park that somewhere around here. This place is full of cars. So here's the coaling station, or the coal bunker, and it's a Vollmer or Vollmer. But we remember that in German, I did German at school. V in German is red F. So it's Vollmer, like Volkswagen. Being a language teacher tonight. But I do that all the time. I generally don't do anything with English, but with German usually. So I'll be able to add, because the actual molded coal in here is quite low down. There's not much coal in this coal bunker. So I'll be able to mound up some more coal in here and maybe hold it in position. I'll be asking you anyway, Ian, what would you suggest to use as maybe as cement or glue to hold some of this extra coal in place. This is something really very interesting. So let's go. See, we can move over now that we've got it. And we'll just head over to the layout. More likely, let's see if we're not going to collide with anything, because this room I sort of do things in is beginning to go completely out of control. Okay, and we will now. I'm trying to see if there's any reserved confidential paperwork on my desk on the other table over here that maybe should be not hidden, because otherwise I'll forget about it and then I won't know what to do. Yes, there's the shift some stuff out of the road. Tomorrow I have to scan paperwork. I've got to scan some paperwork tomorrow. What's in here? Bits of paper, junk everywhere in here. Okay, so let's move over to the layout. We'll move the sun over to the layout as well, meaning the 40-watt bulb. And we're going over here. I'm not even getting up off the chair, I'm just wheeling myself over. So we'll position this coal bunker more or less where it will be positioned on the layout, which is a bit of a mess. Oh, there they go. They're building the footbridge here. Huh? They're working. So my idea is to fit this shed will go somewhere else. It's to put the coaling station more or less there, and of course it'll be a bit more weathered and it'll blend into that shouldn't even be there, that still has to be repaired. Coaling station and water tower more or less in this siding out the road, so this can be the very clever. That's the problem of non-permanent layouts, you just knock things over. I just dunted that with my elbow. And we can keep this shed here. Then we'll see how to arrange that when we eventually get around to doing this. So the whole point is I'll get this here prepared with extra coal mounted inside it, and weathering the plastic to give it a kind of dirty sootiness. So yes, the carbon will be very useful for that. And then this coaling station will just be used in a plug and play sort of put it on the layout. I'm thinking to make, and I could make that myself, a small kind of crane, and I could actually make that, see how to do that for loading, to be able to load it on, load it into the bunker. That's something I'll think about, how to do that. So anyway, now that it's there, we're going to also run a train, because lately I've not been running enough trains. And I know that we all like to see a train going past. So, as you can hear by the dreadful noises, it's a 3-pole motor, SNCF 040TA shunting locomotive. This is the one with a 3-pole motor, and this one doesn't have the belt drive, this one has the gear drive. So we've got the usual layout with the motor here. The motor is in here in the middle. It's a mid-mounted motor, and in this case it has the drive gear up here, not towards the back, that goes straight down onto the transmission shaft, which is in here, longitudinal transmission shaft. There's a nylon gear on the motor, and there's actually brass gear on the transmission shaft, and the pickup is from the 2 center wheels, if I don't remember badly. Yes, only the 2 center axles pick up. There's no pickup from the front wheels because there are traction tires, and there's no pickup from the rear wheels, which have not got traction tires. And I actually tried, when I did all the jobs on this locomotive, to maybe adapt the front pickups of the donor locomotive, but there was no space and the risk was, so I just decided to keep it as it was, and it handles points quite well. So let's just get going in the proper direction. That derailed, didn't it have to derail? As soon as you propel, the derail. Okay, propel and derail go in the same sentence. The combination of noise is the 3-pole motor, which is noisy, and the gear drive is noisy. In fact, the belt-driven version is much quieter. It's much quieter because it has a 5-pole motor, and it's much quieter because it's belt-driven. What would be interesting to do I would need a gear puller, I would need all sorts of bits and pieces, would be to replace this 3-pole motor with a 5-pole motor, but maintain the gear drive system. But I think I'm not going to bother. I'll just keep it stock. You remember that when I did the jobs on this one here, it was missing the ballast. So I bought another one at a pretty cheap price, which was in really bad condition, but somebody had disassembled it, not reassembled it well, missing nuts and things here, and I bought it for the ballast. So I transplanted the ballast into this one here. And the idea was to eventually repair it and just make a dummy locomotive. It's the version with the open cab. Anyway, recently on Vinted, somebody was selling an identical locomotive to this one, really cheap, minus the chimney. So the chimney broken off. Even on this one here, the chimney was broken off at one point. You can see it's been not broken, not glued on by me, because honestly I would have done a better job, but it was glued on by somebody else, and they did a bit of a hodgepodge job. It's not really sitting very straight, but I don't know what kind of cement they used, and I'm not risking taking it off. We'll just keep it as it is. We'll say that it got a dent somewhere and the locomotive is not really very well maintained. Anyway, or else we'd have to take the body off, stick it in the freezer, and then maybe sort of convince it to come off and glue it on again properly. Anyway, the other one I've got, and we'll actually dedicate a video to it, green 5-pole motor, pretty good runner, everything. So I'm not collecting 040 TAs. In fact, you can see but we'll actually talk about it. So I bought it mainly because it was in pretty good condition, minus the chimney, minus the funnel that's missing. But I have the spare body shell of the open cab version, which I cleaned well. And so what I'm doing, bought it, I'm fixing it up. I won't go through all the servicing, because we've already seen the servicing to these locomotives, this version here. What we could do, I think I've also shown you in the videos how the belt driven version is, but what I'm going to do, that locomotive needs a new drive belt, so I'll definitely make a video once I get everything cleaned up with the changing of how to change a drive belt on the belt driven ones, not this one here. And I'm going to fix it up, and then I'm going to resell it on Vinted, simply to finance something else. That's the main idea, because lots of things that I've sold and things on Vinted have been also to sell some stuff, certain things to finance other things. So that'll be another completely different video. But seeing this locomotive's out, I just wanted to, and we'll do some comparative things anyway with it. So let's keep going. Oops, in the right direction. I've never done this scheme of buying a locomotive to service it and then resell it. It's the first time I do it. And I just did it because I already had the body shell. And there was absolutely no point. And then, considering I'm planning to keep the chassis of the other locomotive, either I'll turn it into the donor chassis, the donor locomotive, either I'll turn it into a dummy, a unpowered locomotive, or I might just keep it as a source of spare parts, because these locomotives do show up. Maybe they're missing bits and pieces, and might become a Juef 040 TA specialist. I'm not going to make a business out of this, but I have got my eye on a very nice Lima 141R locomotive SNCF with the engine in the locomotive, local driven, and if I manage to fix that other one up and then resell it, it could finance something else. That might be the idea. Squeak, squeak. Let's send this bit to the siding now. Go this way. Where will they go? Well, let's go into the station siding for a change. Let's get these points. Oh no, like that. That's correct. Now let's see what happens when we propel. Now we have pickup. Oh no, the 3-axle coach is going where it wants. This 3-axle coach is not really a big fan of the points. No, it doesn't want to go. No, 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 no way. The 3-axle coach is not really wanting to go over there. It's sort of jumping the points. Let's see if we manage to encourage it to go. Oh, got it. Okay. Third time lucky. And it's not stalling on any points. Not stalling on any points. Of course it's stalling on points. It only picks up from the centre most axles. Come on. Okay, that's not bad. Let's go over to the coaling point. Oops, that was a bit of a quick start. I think it's sort of semi. Silence in court. What's going on? I don't want it to jolt into life now. I think the rails here have got a bit oxidized because I've not been running trains very often. Okay, perfect. So we're at the coaling station, so we'll coal up this locomotive. Okay, very well. I think we'll just reverse out, so that way we'll just make a meal of this in my video. Stuck. Come on. And I was going the wrong way. There must be a dirty point in the tracks here and it doesn't like it. There's also, this is quite tight radius here, so I've noticed that sometimes, yes, definitely dirty track. Dirty track and badly, only the centre wheels that pick up. Let's go back out. Okay, we're stopping that one there. And see now at it, we'll just pop over on the other table, whoosh back over here. Let's just, I'm not even getting up, let's just wheel ourselves back over. Colliding with. My wife has added a clothes stand in this place behind me. Okay, so seeing I mentioned it, we may as well talk about it anyway. Here's the locomotive. So this is the other SNCF 040 TA, the one I'm servicing for resale. You can see that the chimney is broken off. The bodywork is in absolutely perfect condition, apart from the missing chimney. The chassis is in excellent condition. Here you can see the belt drive, which is absolutely decayed and solid. Now you can buy silicone belt drive belts. You can get them on eBay from France. They'll post you them. And you can see that this is the belt driven one, so it picks up from the first 3 axles. So we've got pickups here on the tires, on the front wheels, and pickups from the same pickups as the other one, as the gear driven one, from behind the flanges on the centermost axle. In this case here, the motor is a 5-pole, so it's nice and quiet, and it's a very good runner, because if I sit it on top of a battery, it works very well. Of course, the belt isn't doing absolutely anything. The belt is rock solid. It works very, very well. So it's a very good locomotive. And of course, there's a problem of the broken chimney. So I had a look at how you can actually dismantle the boiler from the cab, the boiler. The boiler can be taken out. You can unglue this and you can take it off the tanks, because the idea was, this is the chassis of the donor locomotive. I don't know where the center wheels are. I think I put them away. I put them in my spares box, which is under the table. So I was going to make a short video and it's becoming a long video. Okay, so suppose these things happen. And this is the bodywork. So here we've got the ballast. The ballast of this locomotive, I always like these ballast, nice and heavy, very well designed. Really good quality. SNCF ballast is quality stuff, absolutely. And this is the body shell of the donor locomotive, the one that I had used as a donor for the gear driven one that you've just seen over there. Of course, the chassis was in very bad condition, missing steps, etc. So the idea is either to make a kind of scrap line locomotive or something of the kind. But this body shell is in really decent condition. Not as good as this one. This is in better shape. Definitely better shape. But this is all in one piece. I cleaned it very well using LCD cleaning solution. There's still a wee bit of dirt right there, but I'll be able to get in there with a brush and give it a good clean. And so once I reassemble, I service this one and change. It'll be a pretty fast job. I just have time to do it. I will have another 5-pole motor 040 TA. But I've already got one of these locomotives, and I've actually got one of the later production ones with a darkened, more realistic linkage. So I'm keeping the other one, which is also one that really had very little use. A locomotive that's with very few working hours, practically new. And I remember I bought that one for a very, very good price. A really super convenient price. Let's see if I can get this here in here. This fits anyway, excuse me. Just trying to get things fitted on, just to show you how it fits on top of the there we go. So we'll have this completed open cab locomotive, which I'll resell on Vinted. I'll just sell it as a runner with all the photographs, and this will finance the railway project. So that will be a sort of an investment in time, and considering I've taught myself how to do all these jobs. Of course, the hooks have to be straightened as well. They're in very bad condition, and I'll have to unscrew everything. I just have to have time to do it. But so definitely we won't go through all of this in video, because it'll just be, as I said before, it would just be a double of things I've already done. But I'll show you how to change the belt, the drive belt. Apart from that, even the wheels, it doesn't even really need much maintenance. It needs just good clean. I'll have to degrease. I've opened it up. I've had a look inside. There's some old caked on, gunked up grease on the transmission shaft, which I will clean. And this is anyway something you can do if you've got, once you've learnt how to service things. This is a good way, using, in this case I live in Europe, and so I can access the Vinted platform, but I suppose it can be done anyway, people do it. But to use your skills to buy something, fix it up, and then use it to finance something else. I mean, I don't know what I'll sell it for, but definitely I'll sell it for more than what I bought it, because it will be a fully serviced locomotive. Here I have to remove some rust using the fiberglass pencil, so there will be a bit of work done. But as you can see, even the lights are working, both the front lights and the rear lights. I spoke too soon. I think the rear light's gone bust. I know, it's just unscrewed. That backlight working? Yes. Works. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that was a bit of a long video. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know. Thanks again, Ian, for the coal bunker. That's really very, very nice, and all these bits and pieces. I'll make good use of all this stuff. And I hope you enjoyed the video, you enjoyed the running session, and let me know what you think about this, the whole lot, and this sort of body shell transplant servicing and resale, and which will help to finance in a way I'm financing Patrick's Models and Transport, because I enjoy doing these things and also enjoy making the videos, and so I'm sort of self-sustaining my channel and my modelling activity with repair skills. Okay, cheerio, and see you next time. Ciao, ciao. Wait a minute, let's just zoom over here, and we'll finish with another lap of honour of this noisy 3-pole locomotive. Of course I'm going the wrong way. It's a good, well geared, huh? Because it's a good crawler, even if it's just a 3-pole. There, we stopped at the station. Cheerio, and see you next time.